When I decided to major in xenoanthropology, it pretty much went without saying that I wanted to go to a university on Earth. They had still been staggeringly divided when they joined the Galactic Union, and there were an incredible amount of different cultures even on the same landmass. Borders didn't mean the same thing they had meant 200 years earlier, but pride and enjoyment of everything in your culture doesn't just disappear. Far from it. Even after making time to read books and watch movies about American colleges, my first 2 years were an experience. I'm a Zalkinian, or Zalk for short, and our species tend to have a lot of children compared to humans. We're talking 24 or so, and don't worry, there are 4 parents to keep everyone alive. And so it was pretty similar in college dorms. One of the best things was that you were assigned a roommate. Just one, but it was better than nothing. I hadn't realized how much I counted on the small noises of my sisters to comfort me and send me to sleep until the first night my roommate didn't come back until way after I'd gone to bed. And the dorm itself had many rooms on each floor, with shared showers and common rooms. That helped with the culture shock. There were few students from off-world compared to the amount of humans, so it wasn't a surprise that I got a human roommate. Freshman year, the girl was outgoing and sociable, often staying out late. I didn't run into any big problems with her, and we became quite good friends. Sophomore year was a little more difficult. The girl assigned to share a room with me took a while to adjust to my appearance. She apparently wasn't fond of Earth's bugs, and I'm an insectoid. But after a month or two of having lots of conversations, she adjusted enough to become friendly with me. My 3rd year, I decided to get a room off campus, in a house with 3 other girls. It was a good start to gradually adjust my mind to the idea of having my own place, especially since the others often had their doors closed for privacy. We still only had 2 bathrooms though, and meal times were often shared for convenience. One of us would make dinner for all of us, which saved time and money. Aside from Kelsey, she joked that she could burn water and needed to spend months practicing her cooking skills before she was confident in her abilities. Often when it was her night to cook, after she made the attempt, we ordered delivery. Kelsey was my favourite because we got along so well, but also because she was a film major. She recommended several movies to me right away, older movies that weren't well known, when I asked for recommendations to learn about Earth cultures. Then she asked if I wanted to watch some old movies with her about aliens, made before humans had met any. That was a hard yes. We set aside a Saturday to binge free and ordered Chinese food, splayed out on the large wraparound couch. The first one we saw was called Attack the Block, and it was both funny and emotional. Human films were quite good at combining multiple genres. I knew a lot about the history of Britain and the British Empire by this point, of course, so it was fascinating to see a story about real, genuine characters who were average people in recent history, and who immediately killed an alien when it crash-landed near their block, a mistake that resulted in all kinds of trouble. Then we went for infamous horror, as Kelsey put it, and watched Alien. Let me just say, when humans do horror, they really go all out. I was sure I'd ended up with at least one nightmare about facehuggers. Apparently this film had a huge cultural impact, which did not surprise me at all, spawning a bunch of sequels. The dynamic of the crewmates, the terrifying chest-bursting monster, even the presence of a cat. Everything contributed to an incredible film. Kelsey said we watch Alien 2 at some point also, which I both dreaded and looked forward to. Before each film, Kelsey had skimmed the summary online to make sure there weren't any important cultural references I would miss, since I wasn't from Earth. The last movie was Lilo and Stitch, a nice animated film to cleanse the palate after Alien, she explained. And she showed me where Hawaii was, also taking a minute to explain its history and culture. That was important right off the bat, since I was able to enjoy the hilarity of Stitch's ship managing to land on the tiny spot of land in the huge ocean. Surfing was something that I hadn't known much about, though I had vaguely recalled seeing a video clip of it at some point. Kelsey showed me some amateur footage of that. I was also given background on the musician Elvis, and she pulled up an old video of him on stage. Lastly, she covered the uncommon but well-known human concept of older siblings adopting younger siblings if their parents died, as well as foster care. I immediately knew I wanted to research more about that later, but I had no idea how important it was. Stitch was a riot, a chaotic, entertaining, and smart troublemaker. But the audience's bond was primarily focused on Nani and Lilo at first. Lilo was only 6, a fascinating age for humans, somewhere that left her a child in all the important ways, and yet knowledgeable about so many things. Or maybe that was just from my perspective as an off-worlder. It was hard to tell. Kelsey told me to turn off my translator during the introduction, and I listened to the beautiful Hawaiian song that had been composed. Comedic moments broke the tension constantly, but it didn't at all detract from the heart of the film, which was the concept of family. I learned Lilo and Nani were all each other had. Wonderful David, Nani's crush, was there to support them, but it was just the two of them in that house. A house where they had grown up, and where they are now found themselves alone. Where Lilo despaired of being an outcast, listening to the lyrics of a solemn Elvis song. You still can find some room for broken-hearted lovers to cry away their gloom. You make me so lonely, baby. Lilo, do you not understand? Do you want to be taken away? I shouldn't have yelled at you. We're sisters. It's our job. Nani, listening as Lilo wishes for a friend, and, little do they know, will receive one that will change the course of their life. Stitch causing problems at Nani's job, having been literally created for chaos, getting her fired, throwing a tantrum, and Lilo gently placing a lei around his neck, prompting him to plop down on the ground, bemused. The story of the ugly duckling. What must it be like to have nothing? Not even memories to visit in the middle of the night. And then David after Stitch is attacked while surfing. You know, I really believe they had a chance. Then you came along. It wasn't even his fault. That's us before. It was rainy, and they went for a drive. What happened to yours? I hear you cry at night. Do you dream about them? I know that's why you wreck things and push me. Our family's little now, and we don't have many toys, but if you want, you could be part of it. You could be our baby and we'd raise you to be good. Ohana means family. Family means nobody gets left behind, but if you want to leave, you can. I'll remember you, though. I remember everyone that leaves. I didn't even notice when I folded my legs under me. When the movie started to be more than a movie. When my breathing grew shallow and tired and sorrowful. Then that brief reprieve when David finds Nani a job until everything goes horribly wrong. You're not taking her. I'm the only one who understands her. You take that away, she won't stand a chance. She needs me. Is this what she needs? It seems clear to me that you need her a lot more than she needs you. No, the man was wrong. They needed each other, and they needed Stitch. The abduction, the rescue, the councilwoman showing up, ready to take him away, and then Stitch speaking slowly and deliberately. This is my family. I found it all on my own. It's little and broken, but still good. Yeah, still good. This creature has been sentenced to life in exile, a sentence that shall be henceforth served out here, on Earth. And as caretaker of the alien lifeform, Stitch, this family is now under the official protection of the United Galactic Federation. My arms wrapped around me. I stared with unblinking eyes at the happy ending as they started to rebuild their house, their home, their new family. Jumba and Pleakley even stayed to help because, of course, they're family now too. They're Ohana. "What did you think?" Kelsey asked, turning the volume down as a song played by. I'm assuming Elvis. She turned on the table lamp. "Kapa?" she asked softly. "Are you okay?" My body language was different from humans, but after living together for a while, the others had easily picked up on it. My arms were folded tightly over my chest. I felt that my eyes had faded from their bright green to something more ashen. And my antennae were drooped forward, completely limp. "It was wonderful," I whispered. Kelsey hesitated, and I saw her shift under her blanket, out of the corner of my eye, still watching the characters bounce around with wood and nails on the roof of their house. "It was." She fell silent for a long moment. But as the silence stretched and I glanced at her, I realized she wasn't going to speak. She was giving me time until I was ready to do so. "My family is small," I said quietly. "My mother, she had a small brood, just me and my 2 sisters. When they first realized how few she was having, they did a thorough examination and realized she was sick. It was something treatable, but not curable. She died when I was 8. Pausing, I took a breath, unfolding my arms and clasping my hands together. My sisters and I were always close, but we were so different in little ways. We never bonded like siblings typically do, and my father couldn't bear the idea of finding someone to replace my mother. Usually after the first brood, 2 couples bond to form a larger family and grow from there. But a year passed, then another, and eventually I realized it was just going to be us. That was fine, but it made us outcasts. We weren't mistreated, but it was like others didn't know how to act around our family. The most important part of who we are as a species is usually building a family. Some people do only have 1 brood, and some even prefer to live on their own. Progress as a society made that acceptable as centuries passed, but I took in and let out a deep breath. But this wasn't what we'd wanted. We were too small. Pieces were missing. We were broken. Kelsey's eyes had started to tear up. I saw, and she blinked rapidly a few times. "We never fixed it," I murmured. "It was always enough, so we just went about our lives. And my father has started to talk about looking forward to when we start our own families, which is a big step for him. He sees the future, we see the future, and losing my mother is part of who we are. But it's not all of who we are." Kelsey nodded. "But Lilo's family?" I met her gaze. They were mending themselves with outsiders. Nani and Lilo, once they got through their struggles and steadied themselves, David was already becoming part of their family. They got Stitch, and like a dog, he was part of their family. You humans do that all the time with your pets. And Jumba, Pleakley. They just brought other people into their orbit. Does that happen a lot on Earth? "Yeah," Kelsey said quietly, nodding. "It's called found family. You ever heard the term?" I shook my head. It's particularly valuable and treasured by humans who are different, even strange, or if they left the family they were born into because of abuse. Family is a profound word. It references those you're related to, but is also the people you choose. Humans value connection, and we make many friends over the course of our lives, but at some point, that relationship can go beyond friendship. Saying someone is your friend isn't enough. It doesn't encompass what you mean to each other, so you call them family. I sat quietly, watching the credits roll in the film, letting my churning emotions gradually calm. Some colour came back to my eyes. Then I looked at Kelsey. "Can we watch it again?"